Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Suratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram. Bhagwan Sri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. Again, we have another special evening, significant in its richness of spiritual current, because it's Margazhi month, and the morning twilight and the evening twilight are specially meant for worship. But this month being Margazhi, the entire month is the time for worship for the devotees. And so it is an added blessing to all of us that whatever we attempt, however little the sadhana is, we can be sure we would further be blessed by all the devotees. It's a very special month with a special blessing being poured upon us. We have submitted the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagwan with deep gratitude for this fortune. This is no small grace. And now we shall have glimpses of Bhagwan's life and what it points out, what we have to learn from this. Sri Janardan writes, the very first time he had gone to have darshan of Bhagwan, because his uncle told him, he was not very impressed at all at the appearance of Bhagwan, because here was somebody who was wearing very dirty clothes, torn everywhere. And he looked very different from his imagined great master. His hair had not seen oil for several years. A very carelessly thrown turban on his head, which kept slipping down. How could this be a Mahatma? He even refused to prostrate before him. But then, under the compulsion of his relatives, he finally, half-heartedly did that. They had taken about 12 mangoes, and Bhagwan was happy with that. Sri Janardan describes how Bhagwan ate every one of them without offering it to anybody. He would just take one mango in hand, he would press it all around so that it would become a loose pulp inside, and then he would make a hole, drink up all the juice. He would take the next one, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. It went on till the 12th was over. And Janardan says that when he looked at it later on, there was not a drop of juice in that. It was perfect action on the part of Bhagwan. Even drinking the mango juice from the mango was so perfect. He could not see any trace of pulp inside, nor was a drop of juice. Such was the perfection of the act of drinking, that Bhagwan was completely absorbed when he did that. So when he described this, my thoughts were transported to another time when Bhagwan declared, I had seen, sitting just 1 foot away from Bhagwan all the time, watching him at work. If he did any work, it would be instant and total involvement, instant and total concentration. And he would go into it with his entire being. And at the end of the work, it was once again clean cut. He would come out of the work with instant and total withdrawal. And after that, we should not think about this work at all. It was complete every way, and there was no more room for any thinking after that. That work was over, and then he would say the next work. If I had to write a letter, he would say, Devaki, give a reply. Then I would start writing, and I had to go on writing without stopping. And then when I ended up, he would see the whole thing stroke it once or twice, and then write my father's blessings to so and so, sign it up, and then seal it. And if I remembered that I'd missed out on a certain point and reported, he would say, "No, Devaki, that work is over. Whatever had to be done had been done by Father. Don't bother about this work is over. Let's take up the next work." So this way, he taught me that any work that should be undertaken by us, it should be given complete, total attention, a total involvement, a total absorption. And then there is no thinking back. Whereas when we do something, we would be thinking about it, lingering over it for quite some time, which would of course overlap with the next work. So this is what Bhagwan taught me. Instant and total involvement, instant and total withdrawal. I remember another incident when Bhagwan was seated in the Chariot Mandap with Agaram Jayaraman and a few others. It was about 9:30 in the night. Bhagwan had not had anything the whole day. He said to Jayarama, "This beggar would like to eat something now. He has not taken anything the whole day. Do you think the mangoes would be available now?" Jayaraman said, "Yes. Yes, Swamiji." "Okay, you go, find some mangoes and bring them. Both of us will share it." There were others sitting there. So promptly, Jayaraman got down the steps, then went to the market. He found only small ones. And then, when he came up to the staircase, suddenly there was another attendant who appeared there, and he said, "Look, they're all very small ones. I know a place where big mangoes are available. There will be bags and bags of them. Let's go there and buy it. Because Bhagwan has asked, Swami has asked for them. Let's give him the best ones." Without thinking, Jayaraman, who came up to the last step, was about to climb up. Thinking the other man was right, accompanied him. But to his great disappointment, when he saw there was nothing like that at all, and the same small mangoes. He knew instantly he had made a mistake, and that Bhagwan would be angry that he had crossed his command. But there was no other go. He took the same mangoes, went up there, and of course, as expected, Bhagwan looked very stern. He said, "Jayarama, why are you so late?" And then Jayaraman had to explain every step, how he came up to the staircase and then he went away. And Bhagwan said, "I have given you a work and you have returned. If you are going to add another part of the work to it, should you not come and tell me and take my permission?" Jayaraman had no answer for that. He was feeling very guilty. But then Bhagwan said, "Okay, I thought we could share it, but now this beggar has to eat all that." Note it carefully. Anyone would think that Bhagwan was punishing him, that he was not giving him something to eat. He was not sharing it with him. It's not so. Whatever Bhagwan did, it is only for Father's work. His very life, his every gesture, every look, every step, every word he uttered was being controlled by Father, and it was meant for Father's work alone. So when he said, I cannot share it with you now, it could only mean that Bhagwan had to do extra work. Bhagwan had said it before, that when you people do not do any work as this beggar instructs you, then Father's work gets spoilt. And then this beggar has to do a lot of hard work to make up for it. Even then, sometimes it won't be possible. So you see how careful one had to be and how much heavy work Bhagwan had to do from moment to moment to moment. Even his eating depended upon Father's work. So after eating all these mangoes, we have gone through it before, Bhagwan gave 3 to Agaram Jayaraman and then 3 to another person there, another devotee. Agaram Jayaraman, he opened the mangoes. There was just a little trace of pulp there, which he ate with the skin. He ate up the peels also. Whereas the other person extracted as much pulp as he could, ate it up, and then he kept away the skin. Bhagwan saw that again, that would put a block in Father's work. He should have eaten that also, just as Agaram Jayaraman did. Then Bhagwan said, okay, now you people take the seed and the leftover skin, throw them carefully at a certain place. Don't put it anywhere you like. So after they did, it was 11:30 night, and then only Bhagwan walked over to the house opposite where he was residing. And even then, out of nowhere, 2 pigs appeared and they ate up whatever these people had thrown. And then only Bhagwan went inside. The work was complete. It was not just eating mangoes or drinking its juice. For him it was a very heavy work of Father. And no matter how many people made mistakes, he had to make up for that in some way or the other. I remember once in Kripa, where Bhagwan used to be a frequent visitor in those days, in the late 80s and early 90s, that Bhagwan was seated there and there were so many devotees around the garden of Kripa. And there was a vision. Someone came out of Bhagwan, and that one had the face of Bhagwan, yes, but the body was different. And this form went to each one there, and it took out something from each one, and that was the feces, the human waste. From everyone, like a scavenger, it collected from everybody. And then this form went inside Bhagwan. That's when I knew that this is exactly what Bhagwan was doing. That Father's work meant collecting all that is unwanted in each person. and gobbling it up. He was doing the work of a scavenger. Being a great master is not just honoring, getting honors, being worshipped. It is doing the work of a scavenger. I realized it with great, great shock. What a work. He would often say, Father's work is heavy. I remember another time in Sannidhi Street house, the early 90s, there would be a long, long queue up to the temple from the house. 4 o'clock he would come and sit there, and it would go on till 7:30. And he would ask me to count. It will be 700, 800 people, one after the other. Imagine Bhagwan's hand raising 800 times and dropping something or the other as prasad into the hands of those people. Sometimes he would get very tired after 800, and then he would tell me, Devaki, this beggar has eaten enough today. If he eats more, he cannot digest it. Close the door. So even eating in the life of the great masters is not just eating as we all do. And it's no eating for enjoyment. Once he told me, sometimes if people walked in his presence, walked into his presence, he would be startled if they did not take permission, and all of a sudden, if they should make a jerky movement, Bhagwan would be startled. Then I was a little puzzled because I had seen Ramana Bhagwan being described as sitting like a stone, and even if a thunder cloud should fall down, he wouldn't budge. Now, why is Bhagwan startled if somebody should just walk inside without any prior information, without his consent? So when I put the question to him, Bhagwan said, Devaki, you have done physics. Now you tell me, a plane is moving at a very high speed, thousands of kilometers. Now if you should bring it to a sudden stop, what would happen? I said the plane would go into flames. So you realize that? This is what would happen to this beggar when he is doing Father's work. If somebody should draw his attention away all of a sudden, this beggar has to suffer, and the work would suffer. So you see, so much subtlety is involved behind all the actions of the great master. He had suffered many times from the hands of the devotees also, not only from the rowdies, but from the devotees who loved him, but without knowing, if they committed a mistake in his work, the calculations would go wrong and he would have to suffer extra. We do not know what was involved in all this, but he often said, Father's work is heavy, and sometimes it is inhuman labor. Now this Bhagwan, the embodiment of sacrifice, is here in front of us with a smile on his lips and eyes on Brahmarandra and his hand raised in benediction. And there's a constant flow of grace from his hand. We all know, even now, his work is going on, his father's work is going on, and all those people who come to the ashram, they receive their share of blessings from him. Bhagwan told me several times, do not think this is a statue of this beggar. This is my Father, Supreme Father himself, alive, vibrant with the power and grace. So even now, Father's work is going on. Even now, Bhagwan is doing the work that I saw in the vision. I remember another time, he was saying to all the people there, and I was one of them, he mentioned Paramacharya with great devotion. Always, he had such veneration and love for Paramacharya. And he mentioned Paramacharya is head of a mutt. His work is different. Father allots different works to different masters. There will be different leelas also. And Father has allotted this beggar some work. This beggar is like, and then he stopped halfway, looked around. Just then, a pig was passing by. He said, you see there, this beggar is like that Varaha. And then he began to laugh. He laughed, his inimitable laughter, for quite some time. I burst out, crying. So it is with great sacrifice, they do their work upon us. It is up to us to make us worthy of it. Bhagwan had said, when you enter this ashram, just by entering and being here, the Father's blessings are pouring on you like rain. Whether you are aware of it or not, it's a truth. Without having to do any sadhana, just by being here, you receive so much blessing from him. So we have to make ourselves worthy of it by chanting his name, by doing every work as his seva. We shall now offer our prayers at the feet of Bhagwan. We beg you, Bhagwan, again and again, as we have been doing for the past 1 year and 8 months or 9 months. We repeat the same prayer every day and twice that. We beg you again and again, 1,000,000 times, for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire humanity, all of mankind, from the clutches of this virulent viruses that attack the body and the mind, and bring back a dharmic normalcy in all aspects of life. We beg you specially for uprooting all the negativities of the mind. They are doing havoc in many lives. And we beg you for protection and all-round wellness for those people who are already selfless and working hard for the sake of the others. We pray to you again and again, intensely, for constant remembrance of your powerful name, knowing that no single Nama goes waste, and every Nama does its purification. And we beg you to be good instruments in your hands and not instruments in the hands of Maya, so that we could run our everyday life as an offering to you. And Bhagwan, finally, we seek that supreme blessing for complete transformation, complete purification, so that we would be able to see your live, vibrant presence everywhere and all the time. We beg you for your blessings to be able to see only your leelas in all happenings of life. We beg you again and again, especially and most importantly, to be able to see that hidden grace of yours, that blessing in disguise, even in the most wretched, disastrous experiences of life, devastating sufferings of life, knowing that it's a definite blessing for our spiritual growth. They happen because they are necessary for our spiritual growth, and it's meant for our greater good, for greater kinship with God, so that we would be able to accept it as a blessing from you. We beg you again and again for all those species of the entire cosmos, in whatever state of misery they are, to be lifted to a higher plane, free from their miseries. And finally, we beg you, and we'll go on begging you, intensely and soulfully, for the eternal living in you, the eternal Supreme. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.